Have you ever looked at the world and wondered why? Why we, as supposedly intelligent beings, keep falling into the same traps of division, conflict, and us versus them? We build civilizations, create art, explore the cosmos, yet we constantly draw lines in the sand, separating ourselves based on flags, beliefs, or even the sports team we support. It seems counterintuitive, right? But what if I told you this tendency isn't a flaw in our character, but a feature of our evolutionary software? Deep within our minds, ancient survival mechanisms are still running, and understanding them is the first step to overriding them. Let's start with a fundamental concept in social psychology: in-group and out-group bias. It's the simple, powerful tendency to favor people we see as part of our own group, our in-group, and to be suspicious of, or even hostile towards those outside it, the out-group. This isn't something we consciously decide to do. It's an automatic, unconscious process, a relic from a time when our ancestors lived in small, tight-knit tribes. Back then, trusting your group and being wary of strangers could literally mean the difference between life and death. That stranger from over the hill might be looking to trade, or they might be looking to take your resources. The brain, being an efficiency machine, developed a shortcut: in-group equals safe, out-group equals potentially dangerous. This tribal instinct is hardwired into us. We see it play out everywhere. Think about a packed stadium during a football game. The energy, the camaraderie, the shared identity you feel with thousands of strangers wearing the same colors. That's the in-group at work. It feels good. It gives us a sense of belonging and security. But flip the coin, and you see the hostility directed at the opposing team and their fans, the out-group. Suddenly, people who are just like you in almost every other way become the enemy. This dynamic is so powerful that psychologists can create it in a lab in minutes. One of the most famous examples is the Robbers Cave experiment. Researchers took a group of ordinary boys at a summer camp, divided them into two random groups, the Eagles and the Rattlers, and just let them be. At first, they were fine. But as soon as the researchers introduced competition games with prizes for the winners, things turned ugly. The groups started calling each other names, raiding each other's cabins, and displaying intense hostility. These were just normal kids, randomly assigned to groups. Their identity as an eagle or a rattler became more important than their shared identity as campers. They weren't bad kids, they were just human. The experiment showed just how easily our tribal brains can be activated. So why does this happen? Fear plays a huge role. When we're afraid or uncertain, our brains crave simplicity. The world is a complex, messy place. It's much easier to process reality if we can divide it into simple binaries: good versus evil, right versus wrong, us versus them. Fear triggers our primal survival system, the amygdala, which floods our body with stress hormones. In this state, our higher-level thinking, the rational part of our brain in the prefrontal cortex, takes a back seat. We stop seeing nuance and start seeing threats. An entire group of people can be reduced to a single, threatening label. This is the cognitive shortcut that fuels prejudice and stereotypes. It's easier to fear a caricature than it is to understand a complex human being. This simplification process is also fueled by something called group polarization. When we only talk to people who already agree with us, our existing beliefs don't just get confirmed, they get stronger. If a group of people are slightly wary of another group, after discussing it amongst themselves, they're likely to become extremely wary. Dissenting opinions are silenced, and the group's average opinion shifts to a more extreme position. You can see this happening in online echo chambers, where algorithms feed us content that reinforces our existing biases, pulling groups further and further apart until it feels like we're living in completely different realities. Another key piece of the puzzle is our deep-seated need for self-esteem. According to social identity theory, a big part of our self-worth comes from the groups we belong to. When our group succeeds, we feel a sense of personal pride. It's called basking in reflected glory. We won, even if all you did was watch from your couch. The flip side is that to make our group feel superior, our brains can resort to devaluing other groups. By convincing ourselves that they are incompetent, immoral, or inferior, we indirectly boost our own group status and, by extension, our own self-esteem. It's a dark but effective psychological trick for feeling better about ourselves. So we have these ancient survival instincts, these cognitive shortcuts, and these emotional needs all pushing us towards division. It's a powerful cocktail. For millennia, this was a successful survival strategy. But the world has changed. Our tribes are no longer just a few dozen people. They are nations, religions, and vast online communities. The others are not just over the next hill. They are our neighbors, our colleagues, our fellow citizens. The survival software that once protected us is now causing catastrophic bugs in our global operating system. The weapons we have are no longer sticks and stones. and the consequences of our division are more dangerous than ever. But here is the crucial, hopeful part. We are the first species on Earth to be aware of our own programming. We can study these instincts, we can observe them in ourselves and in others, and by understanding them, we gain the power to consciously override them. Recognizing that flash of anger or suspicion towards an outgroup for what it is, a cognitive relic, a leftover from the savannah, is the first step to disarming it. It allows us to pause, engage our rational mind, and choose a different path. It allows us to see the individual beyond the label. How do we do this? The Robbers Cave experiment also showed us the solution. After stoking the flames of conflict, the researchers created a new problem, a crisis like a breakdown in the campus water supply that both groups had to work together to solve. They had to cooperate to achieve a common goal. And as they worked together, the hostility melted away. They started making friends across group lines. They were no longer eagles and rattlers. They were all just campers. The antidote to division is a shared goal. It's creating a new, more inclusive in-group. Today, humanity faces enormous shared challenges. Climate change, pandemics, economic instability. These are our broken water lines. They are problems that don't care about our flags or our beliefs. They affect all of us. These challenges are our opportunity to create a new, planetary in-group. To see ourselves not as separate tribes, but as a single human species working together on a shared project of survival and prosperity. This isn't just a philosophical ideal. It's a practical necessity. Especially now, in an age where we are developing artificial intelligence, these AI systems are learning from us. They are learning from the data we create, from the divisions we perpetuate, from the biases we display online. If we feed them a diet of tribalism and conflict, they will learn to amplify it in ways we can't even imagine. But if we can consciously choose to bridge our divides, to practice empathy, and to work towards common goals, we can teach them to be a force for unity. The story of human division is not our destiny, it's our history. Our brains may be wired for tribalism, but they are also wired for empathy, cooperation, and learning. Understanding the psychological traps that lead to division is like being given the map to a maze. It doesn't magically transport you to the exit, but it gives you the knowledge to navigate it, to avoid the dead ends, and to find the way out. We have the map, now it's up to us to use it. Thanks for watching. If this sparked an idea, be sure to follow for more.